Just kidding. I'm sure the microphone's working. Hello, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me fine. Good to see everybody here. Eric Martinez, Alfred, Tracy, good to see you. Love Matters. Cherry, Matt, Primitive, somebody. Boy, flying now. I should have slowed the chat down. So let me move this chair. I'm going to stand. So you can check out the background behind me. It's a beautiful little location. So wanted to give everybody an update. Hopefully, it looks a little washed out, doesn't it? So I wanted to give everybody an exciting update. There's a lot going on. I've been working feverishly on a lot of things, which you will find in the links below this. You will find many different aspects of this upcoming trip. So before we get started, I want to give you an update that it has a name. So it is Witness in the Desert. And so that is the name of the event. And I've got a little bit of glare here on the screen here, so I apologize for that. Yes, so Witness in the Desert. And I'm putting together a website right now that is desertwitness.com that will be a location that all of the videos will be, also at the channels of the participants, that the participating hosts that are involved in the event. I'm adding more and more all the time because I want to cover a lot of different issues. So hey, good to see you, Steve, WSO. And so Steve being one of them, what will we witness? I'm sure that you probably have a pretty good idea of some of the things that we're going to witness. It's going to be a really interesting event. So I wanted to just give you an idea of what this is going to look like, because it is shaping up. It's really taken on a life of its own. It's not some creativity that I've added to it. Basically what we're going to be, what it's going to look like is that we will be using, we're going to be putting together a little bit of a technological event here. So follow me. That we will have a software and a hardware setup with a link that is also has its own Wi-Fi system, its own broadcasting system. So we will be connected and linked, if we have to, through satellite data. And any device that we have, even a cell phone, anyone that is up in the mountains, if they have 4G, if they don't, if they're close enough in the base camp there, whoever has a device that is part of the event can broadcast centrally to a central location. And within a trailer that we will rent and equip with the appropriate software, which is really, it's intended for doing just this. It is live production with titles, you name it. Titles and locations. So, hey, good to see you, Jeffrey. Yeah, I have a all black hat. I just didn't like it. So, and I can't stay, I'm not a Chevy fan. I'm not a fan of any brand. So, so the software itself will allow us, for instance, we will have correspondence, so to speak, up in this cave or up in that location or at base camp or wherever anyone might be. And at any point in time, there will be somebody directing and hosting. So there will be a host that is giving commentary on what's going on and know where all the locations are and who all of the correspondents are. So let's say, for instance, Jeffrey is out with a group that he's in, in one of the caves or at one of the mountains somewhere. Then the live person could say, well, let's go to Jeffrey and get an update on what they've seen. Apparently they're seeing something because they're signaling. The person that is directing that will be able to see all of the live video feeds coming in and switch to that feed on a moment's notice and bring it live to you and bring it into a centralized production. That centralized production will be available to every host channel, anybody that is hosting a channel, they can go live on their channel. So their subscribers can watch the live feed, and my subscribers can watch the live feed, and Jeffrey's, and so on and so forth. On top of that, we will also be compiling video, more documentary style, along the way, that will be edited for videos after the fact. So this will be not just a 4 to 5 day span of live content that I would hope to have live 24/7. That at nighttime that we'll go to different correspondents within the campfire discussions, and or I'll call it the bonfire discussions. And shower. Love Matters asks if there's showers. I wouldn't expect one, but you can most likely have yourself a solar shower. Those are you hang them up on something, and the sun heats it up, and then you can at least take yourself a warm shower. We might, depending on what type of funding we receive through the fundraising and what type of equipment gets donated for use, either donated for to have, because some people have already asked to donate equipment and give it away. So we could potentially use that for other events. Now, the Rex Bear has some hats. Yes, we'll have Rex, and I'm sure that there will be things that would bring toiletries. Maybe dimensional cap. So I'm also looking for, so if anybody out there, Steve or anyone knows anyone, different fields of interest. So people that are focused on paranormal investigations, they should come along, because we'll do all sorts of different elements of that search. So geological, archaeological. If there are people that believe that they contact and they speak to Inky and Enlil, bring them. These are the types of people that we'll have involved. So Tracy's asking if it's 1 or 2 weeks. What we're looking at is probably 5 days in the desert, and then 2 days of after the fact, after we've all broken up, that the hosts would come and that we would edit and get together and talk about the trip and do some other live stuff at a central location, most likely here in Prescott or somewhere close to there, like Flagstaff. So this will be an event, truly a YouTube event that I haven't seen be done, but I've already investigated in the technology that is available that we could utilize and we can purchase. This is not incredibly expensive. It will add up. There are expenses. So WSO says, indeed, we have experienced wilderness deeply, if you know what I mean. Yes, the wilderness that Christ speaks of and the wilderness that he's in is a wilderness of this world. Once you've understood these truths, you're in the wilderness. Everybody else is where they believe they're at in their false perceptions. So this event is definitely shaping up to be something I think that is going to be very unique. Good to see you, Hopi NG. And Chris Kaihart, good to see you. Damien, good to see you. Yep, Damien, you're in the wilderness. Sheila Abrams. So this is good to see you, Victoria. Sarah C. So I believe that this will be, somebody's adding my Gmail address there, but that Gmail address is not what you should. So listen very closely. That Gmail address is not what you should send your interest to. First and foremost, if you want to stay up to date on everything, then in the description box below the video right now, you can see there is a join the email update list. If you want to get updates and you want to know what's going on, regardless of what you do, regardless of whether you want to attend, regardless of whether you're donating or bringing something to bear as far as a resource or yourself, a skill that you have that we might be able to use, regardless of what that is, everyone should sign up for that so you're part of the single update. It's impossible for me to go through the vast amounts of emails that I get and give individual updates. I'm going to have to give an overall update to everyone. As for the people that want to attend, you will see that there is an email address, production@desertwitness.com. Production@desertwitness.com. So that is if you want to attend, if you want to come, if you have equipment that you want to bring to bear, some of the types of equipment that we're going to need, trailers. If you know of somebody that has a porta potty trailer, they've got, so kind of on a film set, they'll have a trailer that have 4 or 5 bathrooms in it, showers potentially. So Love Matters was asking about showers. Potentially a kitchen trailer, something that that we could also have kitchen, a generator that's on a trailer. All of the things that people could donate just would prevent us from having to raise the capital to rent it. We will rent it if we have to. It's a 5-day event. It would be like this is going to be like a production for to a degree to a feature film, except far more down and dirty. That we're gonna get busy on this, because this is also just an event, a gathering of the like minds. So there will be a lot of a union of people gathering amongst the people, and I'm sure that people will be able to find amongst themselves during this event that are on location the groups of people that they relate to most, and we will try to obviously help organize that too along the way. So hold on, I'm sorry, Matt, your message is blocked here. Let me read it and make sure it's appropriate. Yep. So Matt, I'm gonna make that available. You said, "Suck it up. Gonna have to tough it out sooner or later. Anywhere, live free, baby." So yeah, this is going to be, for some of you, call this a rehearsal, because obviously we all know that things are going to get a little bit more challenging as we go. Nanya business, not going to make that visible. This is not a channel. Don't come here marketing your channels, and that's all out. So what this is going to be for, I think, many of us, is going to be a true investigation of some of the things that are out there, true investigation of some of the people. Like I said, if they believe that they can speak to Enki and Lil, then by all means they should come. So we'll let them go out, and we'll let them try to find Enki and Enlil. If they show up and we got those live on YouTube, well, then rock and roll. If they show up and want to talk to me, fine. I think it's going to be, I think we're going to witness some pretty amazing things. You cannot have a collective of consciousness in the way that we're assembling without miraculous things happening. You see it, you witness it just here in these chat rooms of the synchronicities. Just wait till we're all together. So right now I have probably about 1,500 people that have requested to attend. Now and that's just on my email. That's not Steve's, that's not Jeffrey's, that's not any of these folks. So what, if you could imagine a massive tent city in the desert. Now, the YouTube hosts, as we gather them, we are, for safety purposes, even though we're going to try to go through some people, we are going to have where they stay cordoned off, just so they can retreat to their location, be it a tent or an RV. I'd like to be able to, have everybody come out and at least have an RV so they can do their own videos if necessary. They can do updates and send them to their channel, because people, still want to stay up to date on some of the channels. They want to stay up to date, like Rex Bear. I'm sure that Rex has videos that he's going to want to do while he's there. Not to mention, with that many people there, obviously we're going to want to be able to have some solitude and rest as well. So, but for safety purposes, because, many of us receive death threats for the things that we do. And so we will have that cordon off. It's not the separation of better than anybody else. It's just for the purposes of creating a comfortable atmosphere for these folks to come, because they're graciously coming to the event and going to participate. So I want to make sure that we treat everybody with respect, including these people that are putting themselves on the line and also going to be staying for, quite a few days out there in the desert. So I want to make it comfortable for the people that are working, because it is work. I mean, the people that are going to go out to these events and investigating, there's work involved in this. So think of it as a mini Burning Man, except not with the pretense and not with the elements that they necessarily have. But we're certainly going to have a hell of a bonfire. I'll tell you that. And the other types of resources that we need are people that can help with production. This would even starting right away. So to that email that I said, production@desertwitness.com, send your emails. If you have been involved in production, been involved in craft services, you're an EMT, you have an EMT bag, you can be kind of a on-set medic, somebody, scrapes their toe, sprains an ankle, does something like that. Excuse me. And no, nobody has heard from Universal News Media. I haven't anyways. So I think she just stopped. I think they scared her away. So we're going to need things like I said, trailers. We will need, I think it'd be great. Somebody, has someone they know out here, or they're willing to come and they have a pickup truck and they're willing to bring, or a flatbed trailer, and they're willing to bring a bunch of firewood. By all means, bring it. If you have some furniture you want to burn, bring that too. So, bring, Tammy says, bring giant marshmallows and lots of something. I couldn't really see. Somebody, Anon Drude. Hey, Anon, I keep filling up the chat with all of the emoticons. It covers too much space, man. Yes, instruments. If you play acoustic instruments, bring those, and potentially even electric instruments. So I do anticipate that, if we could put together a Desert Witness band, sure, that'd be great to have some entertainment at nighttime when different people can get up there and test their chops. I promise you, if there is a band there and a DJ, I think that Tracy has somebody that would be a DJ, would come up, bring some music and have some beats. I think that would be a lot of fun. I definitely don't want this to be all so serious all the time, that we are definitely going to enjoy each other's fellowship as well. And that everybody would have a role in this. So even if you're just a participant, that everybody would be a volunteer of sorts. So if we did have a call for volunteers of certain things, cleaning up the camp, dancing. Yes. I promise if there is a band and there's some music and a DJ, I'll dance, I'll sing, I'll play instruments, I'll do whatever I'll give you all I got. I'll sing whatever you guys want. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to play instruments. So I'm sure I won't be able to avoid, jumping up and playing some drums or guitar or piano or whatever else there is. Now, somebody says, do we need a cook? Well, that's what that's what I'm going to be speaking about right now, which is, if we have a portable kitchen, obviously, if we have 1,500 people in the desert in tents, we're not going to be cooking for 1,500 people. The food costs associated with that, and also the management and organizing of it, would be a massive undertaking. That doesn't mean that we won't have some things that we serve. Maybe somebody brings, if we do have a big barbecue or a kitchen, and we can make one lunch with just burgers or something, and you supplement it with your own chips or something like that, and we can do that, then great. I'm going to be talking to a company that I've worked with before, that is kind of restaurant supply, where I can potentially buy a lot of products that are kind of close to the end of their expiration date, but still very, very good, and get them at extremely low cost, that we would be able to have those available. Now, depending on us raising this capital, obviously getting people to us, getting people out there, the hosts is going to be the most important part, the hosts and the equipment to broadcast this. So that's going to be the brunt of the costs associated with this. Also, so we're looking at, as I said, software, equipment, generators, and trailers and accommodations for people that don't have a place to stay. And even if that's pop-up yurts, whatever that's going to be, I would like to very much, stay in a pop-up yurt or something like that. I know that Malia and I have already discussed it, and she's completely fine with that. We like that. We sleep outside here sometimes in a bug tent. So we may have, like I said, from time to time cooks, but for the most part, anybody attending will be responsible for their own food. And if we do have a congregation food, then you can, obviously everybody can participate and grab, like I said, grab something. We will have all kinds of food. We're not going to be, forcing everybody to be vegan. We're not bringing any of those principles to the table. We'll have food, and if you don't want to eat it, then don't. So this is probably going to be the most free event. Now, obviously, all local laws will have to be honored. The last thing that we're going to do is encourage anybody to break the law. So if you're going to be in Arizona and you're going to have something of the green nature, then you better have your medical card. So, also, anybody that has contacts and other things, because I would like to have more than one shaman. I've been in contact with some of the shamans and some of the religious folks with the Navajo and speaking to the Hopi, but bringing these people to bear, and also the relationship that we'll have, because we'll be in both territories. We'll be in Navajo and we'll be in Hopi territory. So we will honor them with donations of whatever they request. So if they would like us to, bring something to them and donate, then that's also what the money would go to. With regards to the donations and the money, so I'm going to be organizing, as I've put a link for donations. I've spoken to Steve and everybody, and I'm going to be the central location, not me personally, but the account that's been created, and other people are going to manage it. Now, keep this in mind, that this will be 100% nonprofit. Nobody's making any money off of this. Every single dime will be categorized. Everything spent will be cataloged, and we will publish every single piece so we can see the total amount of money and exactly where it went. And if there were even $50 left over, then we can choose where that money would go to and donate to, and most likely that it would go to something as a goodwill gesture back towards the Hopi and the Navajo. So aside from what we would give them up front, aside from the things that we would bring, because they do genuinely appreciate the gifts. And I would say that everybody, and I will have kind of a list of gifts that everybody, if you're attending, should bring something as a donation to the clans of the people there. So, let's see what else here. What do we have? Religions are definitely scams. Yes, Truth Tech. This is not a religion. Everybody can leave their religion somewhere else. There will be no religions here. There will be no traditional things honored. There will none of that stuff. Everybody will be equally respected. Every belief system, whatever you have to bear, as long as that is not being pushed on other people, or we're not going to tolerate anybody coming on and forcing people to have some seance or something. None of that. So if you've got some folks you want to do that, it's just not going and gathering. This is not a recruiting session for anybody. This is a mission that everybody is going to go on to find the truths about some of the things that are hidden out here. And I believe that what we are going to find and what we are going to see, because of the time that we're at and because of the time of the year that we're going. So let me give you a tentative date right now. The tentative date would be November 29th. So if you want to remember what that is, just think 11/11. 11, 9 and 2 being 11. So 11/11, November 29th. And then count 5 days from November 29th. Now, that means that anybody that was participating, from a production standpoint, that would be contributing services, would have to be there probably a day and a half to 2 days ahead of time to make sure that we've got things set up and tested. The other things that we will be also looking for are very good production quality Motorola's. If we have to, we can rent those, as I said, just like a feature film production. We'll rent walkie-talkies for the people that are organizing and keeping things going, so we have constant communication. This is going to be it's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. I believe that it's going to be a time that we truly begin to find some of the things that are hidden there. I believe that we'll find things that have never been known or even spoken of. I can only tell you what I've seen And for the most part, I just really want to make it a time where we just witness it all happen rather than saying what's going to happen. Yes, walkie talkies, but good. They have to be production level, so you've got good batteries and no interruptions on a isolated frequency. Now, the Mevo cameras are some of the cameras that we'll use on location because they work in conjunction with the software that we'll be using called Live Stream Studio. And this will allow us to really work within all of the elements. We can bring in other things. We can also bring in video that's already out there. We can bring in other videos from YouTube to talk about something and demonstrate if somebody else had shown a rock or spoke of a prophecy or something. We can bring that in during these productions. This will be a very much a live production. So I'm looking to bring in some people that have done this before. So people that have worked on documentaries or live television, live news. Malia has great experience. She'll be a wonderful person there that can interview people that when we go to a correspondent that's in the caves, she can be on live asking the questions. She knows how to dig into the questions, and she knows how to bring up the things that are not being spoken, or the questions that she senses other people are asking without even being there. Getting text. So I was just making sure that I'm responding appropriately. So Jeff and Steve, yes, I got your text. I'll try to get to some of your questions if you have any other questions, but everything is in the description box. So keep in mind, we've got, first and foremost, make sure you join the email update list. And that's up at the top. It says join the email update list. You'll see https://gem.godaddy.com/signups. And then you'll see the rest of that link. Then underneath that, you'll see for equipment or skills or anything, email to production@Desert Witness. And anyone donating to the event, you can donate through a pool on PayPal that's been created specifically for it. And as far as also keeping up to date and coordinating with other people, maybe rides, anyone that might be coming, you can become a member at globalwitness.me, http://globalwitness.me. Go there, sign up. You can communicate with the people that are there. Matt Burkett says, which channel is going to be alive real time all the time? I know my channel will be. And so if I need to do a video, I'll just basically go into what I'd like to do is have a outdoor and indoor, just in case weather providing, in a trailer where we have a little studio set up, proper lighting, microphones and all of that. So somebody can just come in, and that, let's say that Rex wanted to do a video, an update. He can just come in. He could do an update directly to his channel. Jeff can come in, do an update, something that he's learned. He wants to talk about something. Steve wants to do an update. Somebody sent him some things. Steve also wants to do high altitude balloons. We're also going to have drones, thermal imaging cameras on drones. I've already got the drones for that. The thermal imaging camera will most likely have to be rented for the drone, because I don't have the thermal imaging camera. They're a little pricey. They can go anywhere from $5,000 to $13,000. So I think we'll be renting one. So trying to see some of these questions. There's a lot of stuff coming up here. We will need trucks or four-wheel drives. That would be best, Lou, asking Derek, driving into the valley, will we need trucks or four-wheel drives? Yes, I would say that you would need trucks or four-wheel drive. And potentially, once I go out, I'm going to go out and do a little bit of investigating, and then I'll be able to give you an update. That's why it's important to have that email and to sign up for that email. So I'll be able to update you, because if there is a different location and I can get a bus that can go to where we need to go, and we can park at a central area, and you can, come and go, and we could have a caravan going back and forth, maybe trucks that people can get in the back, load their stuff up, and then drive to the base camp. Imagine 1,000 tents in the desert, though. I'm I mean, I don't care whether it's 5, but I can tell you right now, based on the response that I've gotten just from my emails, I have a feeling that it's going to be much larger. And if it's successful, then we'll probably, um, Derek, Jason says, I have a FLIR thermal imaging and sonar camera. Copy that. Bring it. That's going to be very valuable in these mountains because obviously, particularly at nighttime, I want to be able to see what is out and about. And those will be great shots to bring into the centralized broadcast. So any of the other channels will have this centralized broadcast. Will have a anybody that is using the live stream software. So any host will be set up with that software, so they could actually pull right from the live broadcast and broadcast that and stream that live directly to their channel if they wanted to. So when they're not on, they can have that live going. They can also have a live, feed going all the time and upload that content to their channels. There's lots of different ways to do this. And since we will be really inventing the wheel of some of the stuff that we're doing with this, with regards to multiple YouTube channels participating, I'm sure that we'll have hiccups. So, please, everybody, be prepared for hiccups. But I'm going to try to spend about a good week and a half prior to this testing all of those systems to make sure that we'll have a fluid broadcast, a fluid stream that everybody will be able to participate in. So the priority, that's the priority for me at this stage. And obviously, that it's going to require, as I said, the equipment and the software and the things necessary in order to make this happen. So I've already received some incredibly generous donations that have helped already even put together this system that I'm talking to you right now. Some of the equipment that I'll be receiving, where I'll be using until then to test it out. So many of the future broadcasts that you're going to see, future live shows that with me that you're going to see, I will be, you'll see that I'm going to be probably using different cameras that give multiple angles, that have close-ups, that's different stuff that'll allow us to have a much more valuable experience at that event. And so I'm going to be using that initially to test that out. So apologize if I have hiccups along the way during some of these broadcasts. I don't want to deviate from also the things that we're discussing, that I don't want every single time that we talk or that I get to come to you every day discussing this, which is why I'll have specific broadcasts about this event. But we still need to go through the scriptures. We still need to go through those things. That's not going to stop. And I would like to continue that during that event, as we learn things, to be able to bring the scriptures and some of the things that we're speaking about, because contrary to popular belief, that many of the things that are spoken of in scripture that are said to exist elsewhere exist on this continent. So we're going to be bringing some of those things in. I also like to have some more remote crews that could also still be broadcasting to us live. They don't have to be within the vicinity. They just have to have a data connection. So I'd like to have some people be at different locations around the country, including in Joshua Tree National Park. So having different crews that wouldn't necessarily be at this base camp, but they could be doing investigations elsewhere around the country, and we could bring them in live, just because we have the ability to bring them in live through data systems. So Sarah C., what types of donations, gifts for the tribe should we bring? Yes. First of all, as always pointed out to me, I say tribes so you know what I'm speaking of, but the tribes, they prefer to be called clans. So the clans, I'm going to put together a list, and I'll make sure that it's available within the community section and that we talk about it in an update, and also update you in that email. That's another reason why it's important to sign up for that email. I'm going to have a list of things that you could bring. So anything that would be very helpful, because particularly the Hopi are quite impoverished, and many of the people in the Navajo Nation are as well. So when you can bring things for them, it is greatly appreciated. They are very grateful for everything that you bring. And as crazy as it sounds, soda pop and tobacco is a big thing. so tobacco, definitely. 45 pounds of honey. That's I'm sure that's good. How about a tractor trailer to haul anything? a tractor trailer would probably be helpful. So all of these things, like I said, send to that production at Desert Witness email. Now, I'm going to also, to that email, I'm going to add each one of the hosts an email so they have a separate email that they can manage all of these things with. And that'll also be on that Desert Witness domain. So they'll be able to synchronize their email client. It is a Microsoft Exchange server that will be running that. So we'll be able to also coordinate each other's calendars and be building events and calendars within that. So that's going to be necessary. So I've already been building these things out. The Exchange server, the email, like I said, the donation pod, and the website, theglobalwitness.me. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to put together right now. Right now, I'm a one-man operation. So hi, good to see you, Paul Amons. And so as a result of that, I mean, I can only move so quickly. And no matter what happens, I do not stop with my meditation, my studies, and spending my time with the Father. That's always my priority. So I don't know what kind of soda, Christina. I'll find out. But yeah, they love soda. The updates that I'll be giving, I'm going to try to give probably a production update through that email server at least once or twice a week at a minimum. Maybe more, maybe one a day, depending on what's necessary. And I will, through that, also provide links. So if somebody is uncomfortable donating money, which I fully understand, I don't even like asking, but we have to put this together, and this is kind of a requirement. And the size of it will be predicated upon how much we raise. So I've kind of been planning this so I can go less or more. I would like the full size production. I'd like to have the ability to have multiple camera locations and things. If we don't get that much, well, then we'll be relegated to a small trailer. Maybe we don't have satellite updates. We'll just be able to, or satellite data, which would be rented there. Satellite internet is not incredibly costly, but I will remove things as necessary and make it smaller if needed. The more important part is that we have the event and that we get people together as a collective in the desert of one mind, of one accord, and look at it as a practice of what's to come. And so getting an understanding of also the things that we'll be discussing there on a daily basis, aside from the things that we're finding, will be really in a preparation for this type of event. And that will be spiritually how we interact with people. We become the example for the rest of the world in this. And so I encourage everybody to think deep and hard about coming. This isn't yes, it's going to be fun. Yes, we're going to enjoy ourselves. Yes, it's going to be a very spiritually uplifting event, but this is not for the lighthearted. So it's not about, putting people up in luxury RVs or anything like that. It's about us, getting what we need to get done. So I would prefer everybody to be, roughing it up. It will be colder at that time because it's going to be the end of November, beginning of December. So keep in mind that you're going to need to bring warm clothing. It is easier to get warm than it is to get cold and 120 degrees in the desert. So I figured that this would also be a better time. There are also some cosmological and celestial events that are scheduled to happen during that period of time. So you can start to look those up and see what you could expect. But I expect pretty amazing things at that time. So Matt Burkett's asking, what do I believe is going on with the sun observatories? Well, I believe that that they're witnessing things that they don't want you to see, and they have been. I believe that the systems themselves have already been monitored, and they have been the cameras that they have already been censored. So we've been getting some of the things that they would like you to see, and some of it we're not. But I believe that their systems, because they were shutting down systems and sites. I believe their systems were infiltrated, most likely by Anons that were attempting to get into their information to make the information that they were trying to block public. I could promise you that it's going to be available. So Kay Downey, I don't know who you're calling Dick, but I'm just going to keep that hidden. If it's me, I'm used to that. So, Sarah C said, I believe he said in the past that children are welcome. I would be careful to bring children to this event. And the reason why is because, like I said, this is not going to be for the lighthearted. I'm not going to stop anybody from telling anybody that you can't. We're in the middle of the desert. The desert is owned by the earth. So the rules aren't mine. This is more of a preference. The only thing that we'll have is within our camp. If you want your children, you want to bring them into the camp, that's fine. But I can just tell you that if you believe that anything that you bring to bear would be disruptive to the nature of what we're trying to find, accomplish, and learn along this path, then I would reconsider it. It's all up to you. Yeah, desert is not a play space. It is this is going to be this is not going to be something, and this is the thing. You, just like anything else, is that you don't want to become, now if somebody accidentally hurts themselves and hurt their leg or something like that, obviously we're gonna collectively get together. Like I said, I would like medical people to be on scene at all times so they can stabilize a wound or something like that, and then get you out of there if necessary. But you don't want to bring something to the situation that wraps up people, that could potentially wrap up people. So if 10 people have to abandon their time at that event to help you, then that's something you want to avoid. And unfortunately, having a more complicated situation with children, I think that you should reconsider that. I would be. I know that I wouldn't bring my children. I could just tell you personally, I wouldn't bring my daughters, not to this event, not until we have a better understanding of what there's going to be and a better understanding of what you're going to be bringing to bear. So if you have your own RV and you've done this before, and well, then that's up to you. Like I said, I'm not going to create rules around that. The only thing that we'll discuss is our immediate camp. If you want to, be within that immediate camp, but prepared to move just outside that camp, well, then if necessary, then again, that's up to you. So trying to get to some of these questions here. What is happening? Don't know what that means. So, So, Derek, are you aware of all the surrounded evil? 666 was the road to get there until it changed in 2006. Largest military set in caves. They hide people for blood rituals. Well, if they do, then we're going to find them, right? Oh, so I see that there's actually somebody named Dick in here. Sorry, every time you guys type his name, it blocks it because his name is Dick, and I guess they think that that's so why don't you just say Richard? That way I don't have to unhide it all the time. I grew up with a guy and his name was Richard Head. I'm not kidding you. Tammy Sanford, yeah, I think it's legal there. You must be speaking about marijuana. It's not legal in the sense it's medically legal. So that's why I said your medical card. Try to get to some of these. Christy says Four Corners is said to be a portal. Is that for the 144,000? Four Corners is definitely something, and we will investigate that. Now, the Four Corners is a monument that's been built out in the middle of the desert, and it's quite elaborate. As you saw that I had done a video and some aerial footage of the Four Corners before the BLM agents came and made me shut down my drone, and they weren't very happy with me. Tough. For shooting, there was nothing out there that says I couldn't shoot and couldn't get video footage, but that's how they do. They make up rules as they go along. So Let me see, trying to get to these questions. There's quite a few questions here. Are we going to have a spirit box? If somebody has one, bring it. Portal, that's mythology based. True Tech, expect arm wavings and much jazz hands describing that one. Portal, mythology. Well, considering that about 95% of the mythology that is in the ancient text isn't a myth, so not quite sure. There's not going to be any hand waving here, but the reality is the evidence of these myths and of who was here and what is here has been corroborated within the evidence that we have from an archaeological standpoint at multitudes of ways, also from a celestial standpoint, cosmological standpoint. So anybody that is first of all, I don't even know why you're here. If you're not interested in mythology, I don't even know why you're even at this channel. So four corners is a gate for other dimensions. Well, here's the reality of it. I think that you can find. Quite a bit within the prophecies, particularly even the Hopi prophecies. It says that the enemy will deceive from the four corners of the earth. Now, the amazing part about it is if you look up and you go onto Google Maps or Google Earth and look at the longitude, latitude, and even some of the signage that they have where they're very specific about the parallel that they reside on, that there's no question that that's a special spot. In the same way that all of the obelisks are set up in very specific spots. The earth has an energy, has an electromagnetic field that is highest at specific points. That's what the obelisks are all about. So they set up those obelisks, and they do that with very specific stone that these obelisks have, that just because you can't see it with your own eyes because it's outside of a 3D aspect to you doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I can tell you right here behind me in these rocks, there are specific spots within these rocks that you can feel. Not only that, I can actually see it, that it's almost like a blurry line sometimes. The earth shows you the energy and where it's coming out. And it's kind of like, if the earth is a living, breathing creature, which it is, a being, that it breathes and it uses her elements, all of her elements breathe, and energy is expelled from different spots. So I could be out here in these rocks. There's a place, I don't know if you can see it, right up at the top of those steps right there. Climb up there. I have chairs, and I'll go sit there and I'll read and meditate. And I'll tell you, right in that little dome is quite the little vortice. It's pretty amazing of the energy. So you can feel it. I wasn't even paying attention to it until I got up there and could feel it right away. So Matt asks, you personally believe you're going to see an entity global witness. What do you feel that you're going to witness? Do I believe that we're going to see an entity? It's not about whether I believe it. It's about whether it'll happen, right? So I believe that we're going to witness remarkable things on multitudes of levels, but I'm not going to tell you specifically what it's going to be, but I can promise you that when you do witness it, you'll know exactly what I'm speaking of. I'm not going to be specific because when you're specific, here's the reality of what it is. I don't bring things to you and tell you what to see, because you can manifest things that you believe that you're going to see. You can manifest them. So I want to make sure that the things that are manifest before people aren't broadcast to people, that everybody that sees it at the same time can then say what they saw and corroborate what they witnessed, rather than it being broadcast before. So somebody says, oh, hey, we said that we're going to go see a giant serpent with two horns that's going to come out of a cave, like much of the Hopis say. They have a serpent with one horns. I'm not going to tell you we're going to see those. I don't know. I don't know what we'll find. But I do know that based on the time and the place and of the legends, I believe some of the things that we're going to see are going to be remarkable and probably not ever experienced before, not particularly in this type of forum. So let me try to... So moderators, are you keeping up here? It looks like we've got some crazy ones in the room. Restrooms, Derek. Like I said, yes, portable porta potties. If we have to rent them, we will. And I want to make sure that we have that. I don't want to dirty up the desert any more than we would have to. I'd like to be able to take with us whatever we brought in and leave it spotless and even better than it was before we got there. Bring old broken shoes. Do not wear new shoes. I would say, have some good warm hiking boots. And also be prepared for foul weather. So have some rain weather gear. I'm not quite sure. We could have snow. So bring, if you're going to come, be equipped. SR fake news. Not sure who you're talking about, but it says, will the recorders catch it if it's the real thing? Hope it does. Well, here's the reality of it. We are at a time where we are witnessing other dimensions breaching this 3 dimension. When you see something in this 3rd dimension, that means that it exists here at least partially. So when you see somebody that is out there, Brian Edwards says, be prepared to freeze your ass off. That when you do witness something in this 3rd dimension, it means that there is a crossing of another dimension. If you can witness something. Now, there are entities, there's no question about it, spoken all throughout ancient scriptures, that have the ability to transcend other dimensions. And so I'm fully expecting that, heck, I believe that some people maybe in this room might be transcending another dimension based on some of the things that I've seen. Amy Miller, yay, my wishes come true. Hello, Derek and everyone. Hello to you, Amy. Good to see you. Not sure what your wish was, but do I believe Christine Aguilera? Okay, so do I believe that CERN finally opened the bottomless pit? No. The bottomless pit is yet to be opened. Bottomless pit is the center of the earth, and that is the hot core that is in there, and that hot core is more than just a hot core. There's much more to that. So April says, hey, Derek and everybody, I'm crazy. Nice to meet y'all. Well, I believe that everybody on the outside of this group is, and of this understanding are the crazy ones. They're twice dead. Did I get Nadi to commit? It all comes down to my discussion with Nadi is he doesn't have the funding to come, and he doesn't want to use the funding that he has, obviously, because he's budgeting himself out because he doesn't live on very much. So I believe that Nadi will come if we can pay for him to come. So I'd like to be able to fly him out at least here to Phoenix and have a place for him to stay. And if we can have all of that and he can be fed and taken care of, I believe Nadi will be here. Okay, so mystery school. I'm going to show your address because it's blocking it. But just to let you know, the coordination of rides and things like that will be easiest to make at globalwitness.me, because you can, that way you've got a record of that not in here, and that way you're not making your email address open to spammers out there that are going to be taking this and essentially having bots scanning these types of things here in YouTube, and then that way you don't end up with a bunch of spyware and crap being sent to you. So let's see, Derek, I can help get Naughty there. Melinda, just encourage him to come, but just let him know that it'll all be safe. I told him, I said, if he doesn't want to show his face, I said, we can make him the unknown comic. We could put the paper bag over his head, but you'll know it's him because you can't miss Naughty's voice. But if necessary, we can also block him out on the video all the time. That we can make that happen. But I think it would be awesome. I would love to see Naughty. Thomas Huntington says, Derek isn't a dick, just passionate. No, I can tell you, if it's passionate, but it's dick means that you disregard people. There isn't a single person that I would disregard or diminish in any way. I mean, I can't even explain what being in Christ has shown me, what it has demonstrated to me. And I think if you've spoken to anyone that knows me and knows how I am all the time, 24/7, in environments like this is about as harsh. This is about as harsh as you'll ever hear me. In fact, most of the time I am quite solemn, quite peaceful. But in these types of environments, particularly on here, much of the stuff where I'll snap at somebody in here, it's because I'm doing this because everybody has to endure people that come and want to stomp on everybody else's sovereignty and be jerks. And so I'll snap back. Or just when somebody asks a question that is, I mean, there is no such thing as a stupid question, but there are intentionally deceitful questions that have an intention behind them that I'll address in a more abrupt way because I see their intentions, and their intentions aren't good. So should try and get Cuba Gooding to come, Global Witness. Matt Burkett says, I will definitely ask Cuba to come. The one thing about Cuba is I know that if he's available, if he's here in the States, or if he's available, particularly in LA, Cuba will come out. He'll come out. He's not going to stay the entire time, but he would definitely come out. I've taken him camping up in northern British Columbia before. I've got pictures of us dancing naked around a fire, so he can't deny that. That was when we were quite young. So, Tech intentions are trying to find. Questions. This is very difficult to keep up with these. Hey, how do you unlearn what you've learned? Hillard Ward has asked that. Unlearning what you've learned is using reason. So if you've learned something in the past, perfect example I'm going to give you, the simplistic form is you learned that Columbus discovered America. Well, if you do a little bit of research and you understand that there's a whole lot of indigenous people here that have ancient Hebrew in their caves and crosses and things long before the church ever came here or sent the explorers over here like Columbus, understanding their motives in coming over to this land here, you're going to know that Columbus didn't discover anything, particularly when he himself admitted that people were here. So you unlearn that Columbus discovered America by understanding the truth of the matter. And so this is just basic reasons. So that would be one way. Sarah Sale says, there is a huge mothership with tons of little ones. What are they doing, do you think? I've seen that footage, and what they're doing is, depending on which portion of they are from a historical standpoint, which we've studied already, preparing for what's coming. Remember that there's more than just good coming. There's bad coming. Derek, are there guides who know the caves? Yes, the Hopis know the caves very well. Navajo guides know that. We will have people up there. We will have guides that obviously have worked with and taking people up there. We will definitely be doing that, obviously, to respect the laws, the local laws. And so we have nonpartisan, so to speak, observers that see that we respect and that we do execute on the things that we say that we're going to do, by respecting all of their all of the clan's laws and their traditions. So we are always going to respect the people and the land of the people that we're on, always. And if somebody doesn't, then they will be removed. So let me try to get to some of these other questions here. Like understanding a loving father would not ask for blood sacrifice. Yes, that's another good way of unlearning something. Thank you, Bill. That's a great response. Yes, not just that, but unlearning something that to think that a loving father doesn't need a blood sacrifice and would never ask for one, but also recognizing that the words of Christ himself, he said that go and learn what this means. For I desire mercy, not sacrifice, which is precisely why he was freeing the animals in the temples, because they were selling them for blood sacrifices. So his entire, if you go into the texts, his main purpose was to focus on this blood sacrifice God. And this is really what he was bringing to bear. He was exposing who the God of this world was, and that they had been unknowingly worshiping the enemy. So you unlearn it by finding out the truth and the manipulation that you've been taught through. So let me know if thanks, Paula, for timing him out. So it says AZ was timed out. So be polite, be nice in here, be nice in this room, or Paula's going to come and get you. She's tough. Or Tracy will probably, if you got to watch Tracy, will probably just ban you right away. So righty. Thanks, Paula. So aliens are fallen angels. Yes. So think about this. If aliens are fallen angels, then the unfallen or the non-fallen angels are also aliens. And if you are a product of these aliens, this is why the amazing thing is I see Christians that are driving around with a bumper sticker that says "not of this world." And I ask them, what does that mean to you? Well, I'm of the Father. Well, what does that mean? Is this home? I'm like, yeah. No, this isn't home. So Christian Aguilera says, Derek, question, then why did Jesus die for us? Lots of answers to that, but let me just try to walk you through this. First of all, Jesus being a physical man, Christ being the Spirit of God in man, he said for you to pick up your own cross and follow him, which meant you need to die too. But that doesn't mean dying physically. So whether or not Jesus died physically is irrelevant. Whether he died to the world is what is relevant, because that's what Christ does. So you first die to this world. You know, Malia and I were talking about this the other day, and we're going to be discussing this because she's remarkable questions. Christ speaks of the 4 cups that he must drink from. Each one of those cups is a death. So in drinking from each one of those cups, it is a different form of death. We live in this world right now. This is death. This is one of them. Then you have a death to the world, and then you have a death to yourself, and then you have a physical death, 4 deaths. And you also read in scriptures where it says the second death. So the death to yourself and death to the world being 2 deaths, but really becoming one, dying to yourself and becoming in Christ. That is the cross. Dying to yourself is the cross. Christ hated the cross, right? Hated it. But for the sake of what he was trying to convey, he endured it. So recognize this is that he was proving that the enemy, the God of this world, demands a blood sacrifice. He demands it because that's who he is. That's his attributes. He was a murderer and a liar from the beginning. That's what he does. So Christ said, when you die to yourself and you're in Christ, that's the real death. The physical death is nothing. This flesh is nothing. But the enemy, the God of this world, will demand your death. And so he was proving that the enemy of the world would demand his death. He was going to the cross. He was dying physically. First, he was dying completely to the world, which he had done, which was the wilderness. That's where the wilderness comes from. That's when you were confronted by the enemy and you completely deny him. He offers you the world because now you understand the powers that you actually have. You understand who you are. You're coming into Christ. And so he's going to challenge you. You will face the enemy face to face every single time in these wilderness. This is why it is difficult to accept these truths. People cannot handle the truths within them. What takes place is just as Christ spoke of these seeds being sown. What kind of soil are they sown in? So when these seeds of truths are sown in you, it's on the rocky ground, they get plucked up by the birds, essentially the cares of the world or the attacks and the persecution that you receive. So you jump back into the world to avoid the persecution. If it's sown in good soil, that soil, you allow it to take root and you allow it to blossom. The cares of the world and the attacks and the persecution are irrelevant to you because you recognize that this world is nothing. That is a complete death to the world. None of this matters. None of it. This is all the illusion. Remember that I was reading to you the other day from the Nag Hammadi text where it was speaking of that for everything visible, there is an invisible version of it. So this is a copy. Everything visible is a copy of the invisible, and a poor one at that. So there is you exist somewhere else at the same time. That somewhere else is the real you. This one is the fake one. Yet what takes place within this fake existence of body can impact and condemn that person on the other side. So consider yourself a time traveler. Try to get to some of these questions. Lots of birds in this tree here having a conversation with me here. You look at these texts. Let's see here, trying to get to your questions. I would say if you wanted to, yes, I would say that Jesus, Isu, is a time traveler. Derek, what day is the event going to be? I will have that on site, but like I said, it's going to begin November 29th. You're going to kick. That's funny, Timmy. I'm going to make that one visible. You're going to kick your own ass when you see me. Wow, 536 in chat. I haven't even looked. Well, 533. I like that number. So yeah, I would believe that we're all time travelers, essentially. There's a separate time. Catherine Willie says, should I feel bad about what's happening to mother's pain? Should you feel bad about what's happening to mom here? I won't ever tell you to feel bad for something, but convicted that these things are taking place through a peaceful nature and through a sharing of what you know and what you learn, you tell people what's taking place. You participate in the best way that you possibly can. Because think about it. You're doing what you can to save somebody. Feeling bad. Nobody wants anybody to feel bad. You know, when I went to prison, the one thing that was most disturbing to me is that people felt bad for me because I didn't want their lives being ruined by something that was happening to me. I will endure, which I would tell them. I would say, I will endure. Know that I'm okay. My letters to everybody was like, I'm fine. Please do not worry about me. I didn't want anybody concerned about me. I'm sure mom's the same. And believe me, she's tired of this place already. She's about ready to shake everybody off like fleas. I promise you that. So Eric R. Global Witness. Hello, my brother from another mother. Just got here super late. That's all right, Eric. I would suggest going back. I shared a lot of information earlier about the event. Look in the description box below for the links associated with everything that I'm discussing about the event. April Dallenberg says, Orion Solus ones everywhere. Copy that. So, you see, my heart breaks for Mother Earth and those who sleep. Yes, just don't let it have an impact on you. Don't let it have a negative impact on you. To be a part of all of this, are we a tribe or a clan? Clans are blood related. Are clans blood related? No. Clans are blood related here on this earth, but obviously if everything that is physical, everything that is visible is a copy of what is invisible and a poor one at that, well, then what's more important is that you're spiritual. We are all one body. And that's what's going to be so disturbing to people when all is revealed, that we're going to realize that we've been murdering ourselves, our brothers, our sisters, the one body. It's like stabbing yourself in the arm when we attack or hate or judge anyone else. This is precisely why Christ was so specific to talk to you about love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's not love your neighbor like you love yourself. It's love your neighbor because he is you. He is you. When all of this is revealed, you're going to recognize that everybody, you're me, I'm you, we are all one body. We are not different. We're one. We are the prodigal son combined. We are the son that went away. So April says, blue eyes appeared only 6,000 years ago out of nowhere. Extraterrestrial interference. Jesus was ET. His blood tested with 23 chromosomes. 6,000 years. Well, I wouldn't necessarily, I could say that that's probably pretty accurate. But yes, we are a product of DNA manipulation. We are already biological AI robots. That's what we become. The difference is that we are animated with a spirit, with a soul that comes from elsewhere. That's what makes us powerful. And the issue was the jealousy of the rulers of that time, these gods that did manipulate us because we became better than they were because of where they took us from. That's why it will be us that judge them. It's us judging them as we speak. So, no, Tammy, you don't need to stay away from those videos. I would just, again, everything that you hear, everything that you see, categorize it, catalog it, use not the discernment of, people go, oh, I've been given discernment. Discernment comes from when truth is self-evident. Like I said, when that truth doesn't resonate in you as truth, put it on the shelf and go, well, you know what? Maybe that's going to be revealed to me in a different way, in a different angle, because I'm limited in my understanding of something. So I wouldn't ever tell you to stay away from anything. When people have asked me, I wouldn't read the Satanic Bible. I say, why not? Why? If you know the truth, you're also going to find truth in that. That doesn't mean because you learn the truth, it's kind of like reading about Luciferians. The Luciferians run this planet. So if you want to know the truth, you're going to have to learn the Luciferian doctrines. That doesn't mean that you honor and love the doctrines. That doesn't mean that you become a Luciferian. That doesn't mean that you join their clans. It just means that you're aware of it. Being ignorant to these things makes you unaware, and then you are always going to be a victim of them. The number 23 is synonymous with Jesus. Psalms 23. 5 is fifth dimension, fifth element. So Christ is a fifth element. Fifth element is also fifth dimension. So Christ exists in that dimension, comes here, and can transcend. Young disciple, you're a great teacher, Derek. I appreciate that. Teacher isn't me. I'm just the speaker vibrating of the frequency spoken through me, but I appreciate the sentiment. The middle way, yes. Do I think the Palladians are coming soon? I wouldn't categorize anybody or start to look for names. Palladians, Andromedians. I would say if you're going to be looking for anything that is a name, I would look more at Andromedian messages than I would Palladians. But because according to the ancient texts, there are a tremendous amount of people within call them peaceful people that left and became part of the Draco, essentially. So this mixture isn't a singular one. Even if you read the ancient Sumerian text, you're going to read about the Anunnaki, and then you're going to read about the Ajiji. These were the same people, but a different people within the same group. They were still all considered gods. Now, when I say gods, that doesn't mean that they are God, but they're considered gods because they lived extremely long lives, hundreds of thousands of years. Somebody was asking about Schumann resonance there of Arizona. Schumann resonance here in Arizona within some of these rocks is it's almost audible. Will Earth be okay? I love her, Catherine. Catherine Willie asked. Yes, she will. She'll always be okay. It might be painful for her, but yes, she will be okay. Like I said, she's about ready to shake us off like fleas. Will she be burned? Will she be burned up? Will she be, yeah, think about this. When you see a fire in a field, first of all, fires are required in order to have a healthy forest. It burns. It's the reason why you have so many pine beetles in specific areas in British Columbia, because the winters had gone mild. And so that typically the winters would kill off the vast majority of the pine beetles. And then fires, what would happen is we put out fires in the forest. And since we put out the fires usually start in dry timber. So when a pine beetle goes into the trees and they kill the tree and they kill a section, well, the pine beetles are prevalent in that section. So those dead trees get struck by lightning, they burn, they kill off the pine beetles, and they stop their growth. When we put out fires, we allow the pine beetles to get out of control. Mankind has constantly been in the way. Mankind thinks that they're going to save the salmon, and they end up killing them. Mankind thinks they're going to save the trees, they end up killing them. It's ridiculous. It's either just complete straight arrogance where they can't see the errors of their ways, or there's an entirely different agenda, which I would say the different agenda was always there. They want to destroy things in the name of good so they can get away with it. So how do I know the event is November 29th? No, not the event. I'm not speaking of the event of what other people would say the event, or the ascension, or whatever that event might be to you. No, the event I'm speaking of, this event, the exploration into Monument Valley, into Navajo and Hopi territory, that is November 29th. Have I heard of James? I can't really read that. Gilland. If I have not, I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know enough of him to speak about him. Matt Burgett, Matt, you're correct in answering or asking these questions in all caps, because I could see them a lot easier. Last one from you. So the Andromedian's coming soon. Depending on what is soon, I wouldn't be anxious. Put it away. I wouldn't be anxious. You still have lots of preparation to do. You might not think you do, but you, believe me, this will be led into as we go. You'll be led into these truths at the appropriate time. Those that already have their ears open, their minds open, their hearts open, they'll be revealed the things that they need to endure what's going to happen. Let me see. Fifth World, don't know who Fifth World. Fifth World ongoing. Fifth World, somebody said they love your videos. I haven't seen them. Should I watch? The Holy Spirit is a fire. Let me see. Trying to get these. These go very, very quick. They are already here. Different dimensions, Alfred said. Yes, they are. Different dimensions that I would say that the Andromedians and that spirits occupy many of us right here and have a job to do. Okay, Fifth World, I'll watch your videos. I'll have to, let me get to your channel. So send me, somebody send me Fifth World's channel if they can in the comments of the video once it's up, if you would, please. Knowing your business, how do I get to your truths, Derek? I don't quite understand that question. How do I get to them? I didn't one day wake up and say, I want to find the truth. I woke up one day being shown truths and being blasted with truths that completely destroyed everything that I knew. It's as though somebody took my brain out and put somebody else's brain in it. And I knew things that were unexplainable, but I knew that they were true. And then I, as a result, started to look for them in ancient texts that I couldn't read, but somehow now I could read. So there was no mistaking that I was given something that I needed to pay very close attention to. And so I don't know exactly how to answer that question, that I'm always being revealed truths. And like I've said many times, that the truth is self-evident. Once you hear it, you know it's true, not because somebody showed you the truth of it. They said it, they spoke it. It's self-evident because it's evident within you, within yourself. You know it's true because it's written on you. Let me see here. See if somebody's texting me questions. Oh, thanks, Tracy, for sending that. Can somebody ask me for their chat privileges back? I think I've got to check on you. Why don't you send me, if you just text me you wanted your chat privileges back, send me your username and I'll go in and find it. I don't think I've removed you, but as I said, sometimes I've gone to do something and this goes and it'll swap and it'll move at the same time, and I've accidentally blocked people that I didn't intend to block. So if you have been blocked and you need to be unblocked, please send me an email to deepros@gmail.com, or since you have my text, send me your username so I can look and unblock you. Husband does not, Sherry Serena says, husband does not believe. What do I do? There isn't anything that you can do to make somebody believe. There isn't anything you can do except live it. And somebody can hear the truth and know it's truth and tell you they don't believe because they don't want to believe. The minute they believe one thing, it's like dominoes. It's going to destroy their whole world, and they can see that it destroys their whole world. Believing is more than believing. Believing is destruction. That's precisely why Christ, when he spoke of, when he was pointing at the temples, and I've said this on multiple occasions, he said, do you see all of these things? There won't be one stone not thrown down. It's not because he was going to personally destroy the temple, the physical temple. It was the fact that we build things, we make physical manifestations of things that take place in the spiritual. So we will destroy things that we realize are lies in the spiritual, where we've been deceived. So when these truths are revealed, we'll end up destroying the physical world that we made as a result of the lies that we had previously believed. So it's kind of like right now what's taking place of people understanding that this country has done some things that those so-called leaders of this country aren't necessarily who they've portrayed themselves to be, and that the systems of this country are not what they've portrayed themselves to be. Not the banking system, not even the constitution of this country. And I'm going to give you an example of that. Nobody gives you a right. Nobody creates a provision or a right to say free speech unless they intend to remove it, because you always had free speech. No one granted that to you. I can talk. And somebody says, well, but you can talk without being killed. Well, this country, you're still going to be killed too. It doesn't matter. Somebody can kill you for something you say. That doesn't mean you have free speech. The reality is that they can regulate what they say, what you say. They get you to accept that they gave you a freedom only so you'll be forced to accept it when they take it away. It's like somebody reading your Miranda rights before you get arrested, saying you have the right to remain silent. You always had that right. You didn't have to talk to anybody. You never did. You can just shut your mouth. Nobody can make you speak. So they give you these new rights, so you accept a new set of rights, but they do it under the guise of giving you something. They'll say, I'm reading you your rights, as though I'm granting you something good. They're not. They're getting you to accept a set of rights which violate every right that you already have, which is why they even say, and they even reference it to tell you the truth and the lie at the same time within the Constitution. Inalienable rights granted by your creator, and they're just putting them on paper. So they're the ones that are giving you the rights that your creator made. Well, if my creator gave them to me, I had them before you wrote them down and said that you gave them to me, douche. So, sorry, I'm not too fond of people that abuse our rights that were already our rights. New York will be targeted first in the United Nations. Why do you think the United Nations is in New York? Ask yourself that question. Mama Chaos asks, what's an easy answer when someone asks why you are different. It depends on the circumstances, but if they're just sensing that you're different than everybody else, I would say an easy answer to respond to them if they ask, why are you different? Say, ask them a question in return. You mean, why am I not like you? Put that back to them, because you want to know what they see as being different. And you don't know their definition of what is different and what makes you different. So continually ask more questions. Never be in a hurry to speak. Never be in a hurry to answer anyone's question. Particularly, somebody comes to you and says, are you a Christian? Well, which denomination would that be? Whatever definition they have of what a Christian is, if you answer, yes, I'm a Christian, well, then in that person's mind, you're agreeing that you're just like them or their version of a Christian. Now, how can you possibly know what version of a Christian that would be? So you use that opportunity. Somebody asks you if you're a Christian, you use that opportunity to get them to question why they even consider themselves a Christian and what that means. And you do that by asking them, so what version of Christianity do you mean? I can't answer that question. They'll say, you're either a Christian or you're not. Go, no, that's not true at all. Because there are 33,000, 40,000 plus denominations. Plus those different denominations, each one of those different variations of those, probably another 25,000. And within those denominations, they also have a belief, not speaking in tongues, yes, speaking in tongues. Jesus did this, post-tribulation, pre-tribulation, all of the different variations. What version of Christianity could you possibly be asking which one I am? And if I answer in the affirmative, well, then I'm probably just agreeing that I'm just like the version that you have in your mind. And so I will not answer in the affirmative. In fact, I won't subscribe to the word Christianity at all, because there isn't a version of it. Am I a follower of the way and of the words of Christ specifically? Yes. Period. So reading your questions, Mama Chaos, I hope that helped. Thomas Carroll says, we had sheriffs harass my girlfriend and I today. They left, but seriously, we ended up giving them our ID. Very disturbing. Those things are going to get much, much worse. Leanne Ferry says, 9/11 here. See here, no box. Science equals Satan, singularity. Science, numbers, math. Look, if we live in the matrix, if we live in this mathematical system, this sexagesimal mathematical system, and we had previously lived in a 10 base 10 system, then yes, you could say that everything that is science here today is of the enemy. But that doesn't mean that science disproves God. It proves God, because if these are fallen, then they come from much of the same place that we come from. They come from the same power structures. Do not ever underestimate, do not diminish who the enemy is. Do not diminish their technological prowess, their intellect, their intelligence in what they do. The enemy is not the little red dude with the pointy tail and pitchfork. Believe me on this. They're far more advanced, and he is far smarter than all of us. That's why you have to think like he does, but be gentle like a dove. When are all the government, Derek, when will the governments, Connie is asking, Connie Birson, Derek, when will all the governments let us know about aliens? They're not going to let you know about aliens until they have their little show for you. And it won't be necessarily a fake. They're going to have some fake, but they're definitely going to be leading, they're going to be bringing this to you as a startling factor, fear factor. They never, ever waste an opportunity to create fear. That's why you have to be in these truths and expect it. Never, ever be fearful. Never be scared into picking a side. Do not choose a side. Don't. There isn't any side that's going to come here. The only side you know is the side once you're not here. That side, whoever you're with when you're not here, that'll be the one that's your friend. It isn't going to be here. This battle that's going to take place here in this third dimension, nobody is your friend. Boy, Paula, you're beating up on everybody's stuff. True Tech. Well, he was causing some trouble earlier. So True Tech, did she ban you yet or what? So Isabel Sanchez, is this our atonement, Derek? Atonement, it depends. The atonement, boy, I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes now, so I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. Sun starts to go down and mosquitoes come out. The atonement takes place within you. We collectively do this. When you have atonement, you begin freeing other people around you because you're forgiving yourself and then you're forgiving them. So you're creating a spirit of atonement. And there is much to be said about that. And I would like to do an entire 2-hour video just on atonement. So I think that we'll plan that, Isabel, because that's a great subject and one that I would very much like Malia to be involved in, because these are areas that I think that her point of view is truly beautiful. And it's one, I can have her and I can have the same idea of what we're speaking of, but she comes at it from a different side that will really speak to the feminine, and the masculine is a completely different angle to that. So I'm starting to get eaten up here. The mosquitoes are eating me alive. So I want to tell you, please, again, go into the description, look at the things that are needed. As I said, that everything that is raised in this, every single dime will be accounted and published, all of the equipment, everything that is being utilized. Whatever we do raise, the more we have, the better it's going to be. If it ends up being smaller, whatever the case, we might not, if we can't raise enough money, then we won't be able to bring out Naughty. We won't be able to bring out Steve. We won't have those funds. So it's going to be less people, although, I'll personally drag Steve out here one way or the other, and Jeff. So whatever we raise, the better it's going to be. So, and the more resources we'll have and the more locations we'll be able to explore in that short period of time, and we'll have better ability to broadcast and send these things. So that's what I'd like to encourage you. And also, most importantly, please, if you're interested in keeping up to date on this, I can't respond to the emails individually. I can respond to the email campaign that I've created. So sign up for the email list that is there. And that way, when I send out one email, it's going to go to everybody at the same time. That's one thing that I don't have here on YouTube, and it makes it much easier to be able to update you. So yes, and please, on this video, hit the like button, because when you do, we've got 202 that have clicked like. Everybody, if you haven't clicked click like. Because it allows it in the algorithm to portray itself better, and more people to see it, get this message out, and more people participate. I would personally, with regards to this event, I would love to see 10,000 tents in that desert. And so we'll see how many people come. I wouldn't be unhappy if there were 4, but I can just tell you that I have a vision where I think it would be a beautiful thing to have a large showing where we can all be exploring all of these truths together. Remarkable things happen when minds that are a collective consciousness get together. Truly divine things happen, supernatural things happen. And no, Ross, this isn't a cult. You can't put a name on this. There is no brand. It's not David Koresh's place. It's not none of that stuff. This is people all seeking different truths. There is no such thing as even a single frame of thinking in this, that people come at this from all sorts of different angles. That's the beautiful part of this. There is no cult. There is no religion. There are no rules. I'm never going to make a rule outside of stay off everybody else's, off of their sovereignty, respect and love one another, period. Call it the love train. Okay, so I've got about 50 bites right now on the back of my neck. I love everybody. I will have every night there. I will have an in-depth Bible study. Anybody that wants to participate, and anybody that even wants to teach and have their own individual Bible studies and different books and things like that. I'm sure that Malia will absolutely love to do that. She'll have her own And I think we're going to have lots of. There's going to be so much. I couldn't even begin to explain everything that will take place there. But these things, think of this as going to an adult camp, summer camp. Sheila Abrams, love you. Bearded Canuck, good to see you. And said it's going to be too many or too mammy. It's not going to be too many. Can't have too many. Boil lemongrass and spray on you to repel the mosquitoes. I will do that. I'll tell you, I should have done that before I started this, but so everybody, at least you can see me on this one, right? So see the beautiful rocks, my little stone earth altar up there. Catherine Willie says, I love Mama B. Yes, Mama B is, she's actually staying with me here right now for a couple days. So I've just, with myself and Malia, we had her over as a guest, just to have wonderful fellowship. And Mama B's awesome, man. She's everything. So I love all of you guys. I really appreciate you coming and listening to this. As I said, pay attention to the links, sign up for the email. And if you can participate, remember the email that I have down there, which is production@Desert Witness. If you bring in something to bear, you're coming, you have something to offer that you would like to bring to bear, bring the popcorn. Yes, Tracy, are you bringing popcorn? Isn't there a time when we are to leave non-believers, even our husbands? That's a much longer answer, but yes. Love you all very much. And everybody go to Naughty's channel, find the video that he leaves comments open, and tell him to get here to make sure that he comes. And like I said, it'll all become predicated upon whether we can afford to pay for people to come. Somebody said, get away, go inside, mosquito spray. All right. Love you very much, everybody. I wanted to see if I could get to anybody else's questions, but I'll do another update here very quick. Not today, but tomorrow. And Malia and I are going to start Red Letter Disciples up again we're going to do on a regular basis, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at first. And we'll try to do those at the same time every single day. So you can expect, we're going to do them live, not recorded. So we can also have questions and interaction with you. So I'm waiting for that new camera. Like I said, that'll be here Monday. So we will start again this next week. I love you very much. I'll talk to you soon, and support the others that are also coming on this event, and just encourage them. And this is going to be a very, very good time. Encourage them to stay true to what our focus of accomplishing there is going to be. I love you very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Well, it looks like this thing doesn't even want to end. It won't let me end the stream.